Welcome to the Yankee and Canuck podcast, Best Picture Series, where we talk about all the Academy Award Best Pictures, past to present.
And I'm your host, a Yankee.
And I'm your host, a Canuck.
And today we're going to be talking about Oliver, 1968 film. This was the 41st movie to win Best Picture. It won, I think, 5 awards here. So yeah, this is another musical. Like I said in the last episode, thank God, because this is the last musical for a while. The last one's going to be Chicago. So yeah, what else did this thing win? It won Best Director, Best Art Direction, Best Score of a Musical Picture, Best Sound. So this thing is based off 2 things. This is based on a musical play, which is in turn based on the book by Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist.
Oh, yes. So, what's this whole thing about? It's about this poor little boy that gets abused throughout the entire movie. Once in a while, good luck comes his way, then it gets squandered, and it goes back and forth until the end of the movie. That's the movie.
That's the movie, and there's a whole bunch of singing along the way.
Yes. But here's the thing. Like, I know we were dreading this one because we knew it was going to be a musical going into this thing. I'm going to be honest, man. The music's actually not bad. It's actually maybe a little better than some of the other musicals that we've heard so far. That being said, though, it's still not great overall. It's like, there are times where I'm just like, did this need to have a musical number right here or hit for there or whatever? I felt like it would have been a lot better if there was no music, if it was just a straight up regular adaptation.
Agreed, yeah. Yeah, because they had a lot of those pieces there, and then it just gets kind of messed up with the music at times. A couple parts are okay, but I mean, the movie had its moments. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just way too damn long, really. And some of those musical numbers just go on and on and on, like the Pick a Pocket or Two.
Yeah,
that song
did take forever. Yes,
it was just going on and on. It's catchy. But it
was catchy, yeah. But they kept repeating the same chorus over and over again, and it just rammed in your head like how the melody is supposed to go. I'm like, I'm sorry, when you listen to a musical, you're not supposed to be tortured by the music. You know, you're supposed to be like, yeah, music. You know,
honestly though, I would say the vast majority of the music wasn't very memorable for me. I literally just watched the movie and I can't remember anything except for that song and one of the other ones.
I'm going to be honest. I do remember some of the music. The one I remember the most was when Oliver Twist meets the Artful Dodger, the little kid with the top hat. I think they're in Whitechapel or wherever they are in London. And then that song, that goes maybe because they kept repeating it, but it was very catchy. Consider yourself. Blah, blah, consider yourself part of the family. And I'm like, that's cute. I like that.
That was catchy, yeah.
I like that a lot. Another thing, too, with the movie is that I know this is like a mainstay with any musical. You basically have to not be really good with the music, but you also have to be good with the choreography and the set design and all that stuff. So this is really no different. I feel like this is probably the best one in terms of presentation so far because of the fact that, yes, you have the musical numbers, you have people singing and dancing and stuff, but then you have like huge swaths of extras doing all kinds of different things, all kinds of different dances. You have grown people, you have little kids coming in unison, doing one number, and in the background, you see another thing entirely. So I feel like it's more intricate, it's more varied, and overall, I feel like it's more impressive. This is like akin to An American in Paris or West Side Story, but the fact is you have all ages coming together. You have all different things happening and people handling different props or on ladders or they're carrying stuff or they're twirling stuff that shouldn't be twirled, like, you know, big chunks of meat or something. And it's just like, you know, it is a visual feast for the eyes in that sense. So that actually impressed me. Even the non-musical stuff was pretty impressive too. There are a couple of scenes where, like towards the end of the film, Oliver's sent by one of the bad guys, Bill, whatever his name is, to go in and sneak in to some guy's house so he can unlock the door and whatever. I love the camera work because there's a beautiful pan from right to left as Oliver's sneaking by. The shadows are beautiful. It's beautifully like put together. It's beautifully blocked. And it got me thinking, like, you know what, as enjoyable to me anyway, so a couple of the songs are, if this was not a musical and they just strictly just focused on the storytelling, I feel like this movie would have been a lot better.
I totally agree, 100%. A lot of those scenes, like that scene where they're robbing the house or attempting to, and a lot of those are really good. And in general, I think the way the I like the way it looked, the movie in general. I mean, it looks like London enough, even though I think it was filmed on sets in Surrey.
Yeah.
And so the sets are really good. I always like to see the cities and towns alive, the markets, the bartering, the shops, the traffic, architecture. It's interesting for sure.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, this movie does have a lot of those good moments. And not even just the sets, like you said a minute ago there, how it was choreographed. And I mean, there's a certain charm that the movie has. And obviously with the characterizations, performances that can back it up as well. I mean, there's a lot of good things about the movie for sure. It's not like it's all bad or anything.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I mean, we opened up with like, oh God, but it's mostly because it's really long. And also the subject matter, in my opinion, is not really the best. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Like usual in the series, like I read the source material and yada yada. So I cracked open Oliver Twist and I got up to 200 pages. And then by the end of that, it said end of book 1. And I was like, end of book 1? And I checked, and my version had 2 books, 2 extra books. So it was 3 books total. The whole thing totaled to like 600 pages. And I'm like, there ain't no way in hell I'm reading 600 pages of this crap. No way. And because there's some editions are different. Some are like 200 pages, some are 400. This one happened to be 600. I was just like, nope. I tapped out. I was like, I ain't doing this anymore. And that's because like I don't like the way the book is written. Charles Dickens is one of those authors where like you either like his prose or you don't. I decidedly do not like his prose, and I have not liked his prose since I read A Christmas Carol.
mm,
I love the story. I love the specials. I love the
very good.
Muppet Christmas Carol, all that stuff. Whatever.
Oh, the Muppet one's great.
Yeah, the Muppet one is great,
Yeah.
but there are many other adaptations. There's the George
So
C.
many,
Scott one, I think, right?
That's my favorite one. 84, I think that came out.
There you go.
That's
So
my favorite one. Yeah.
I mean, the story is amazing. It's a timeless classic, as they say. But when I
Exactly.
read the actual story, it's like Dickens is one of these people, and he's not alone. There are many authors just like this, where they have a really good idea, they have a really good structure, but they cannot execute it. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, he cannot execute it. Like the last episode we talked about was In the Heat of the Night. Now, the thing with that John Ball novel is that it's a great idea. The characters are great. It's a great structure for the most part. But the key thing that makes it a great book is that it's written well. The dialogue is great. It goes along at a great pace at times, most of the time in that book. You feel like you've gone through a journey and you're satisfied by the end of it. Charles Dickens, what he likes to do is that he likes to prattle on and on and on about certain things, go on these cutesy little metaphors and whatever. And maybe some people like that. I don't. I feel like my time is being wasted. Just tell the story, man. I don't need to know about I'll give you guys an example. Hold on just a second.
Does it feel like when you're reading Dickens, it's like sometimes you're in quicksand? Like it's got a...
Yeah, but it's got like you're slowly sinking in and you're just like
There's like this there's sometimes just the way he writes, and it just goes on, and then kind of a slog.
Well, here's an example, because this is the part of the book where it's also in the movie where the Dodger and one of the other kids pickpockets this dude, right? And then Oliver's just standing there like a doofus. And then when the boys run, the old man turns around, sees Oliver, and he's like, he's got my wallet. That whole sequence?
Yeah.
Okay, well, in the book, it's at the part where that happens. He runs away, and then Dickens just throws in this. Although Oliver has been brought up by philosophers, he was not theoretically acquainted with their beautiful axiom that self-preservation is the first law of nature. If he had been, perhaps, he would have been prepared for this. Not being prepared, however, if alarmed him the more, so away he went like the wind, with the old gentleman and 2 boys roaring, shouting behind him. Bro, you could have just said, and therefore Oliver ran like hell. Like, you didn't need all this other crap. This is what the book is filled with, And again, some people love this. Some people love the way he writes. And I'm just like, hell no. It's kind of like with Stephen King. Stephen King does a similar sort of thing where he goes off on side tangents and he talks about other things entirely that have nothing to do with the main plot. And I think it's just down the taste. Me personally, I feel like my time is being wasted when I read crap like that. And I'm just like, no. And I'm just like, 400 more pages? No way. I bet you those 400 pages could be distilled to like a cool little 100 to 150. That's it. Put out a lot.
In King's case, I think it was probably the cocaine and alcohol that caused him to...
Yeah. So he had an excuse. Sure.
What was your excuse, Dickens?
He was pompous, full of himself, and also pretty racist too. Let's be honest. Like a lot of these people were back in these days, as we found.
Yeah.
Because one of the characters is Fagin, who's in the movie. So he's the guy who looks over all the boys and teaches them all how to pickpocket and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliantly played by Ron Moody, by the way. He's really,
Yeah.
really good. In the book, it's not flattering. Like, the character Fagin is actually, from what I read, mostly just described as the Jew.
Mm.
And my edition had illustrations, and when they showed Fagin, it was the most unflattering depiction of a Jewish person as you can think of. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty anti-Semitic. That's great. And the character in the book, again, from what little I've read, because I just read a synopsis after that, I was like, I'm done. He's not a good character at all. He's just slimy and deceitful, and he's willing to take advantage of the boys. In the film, he's portrayed as someone who has questionable morals, but still has a tinge of good inside of him. And apparently that was done on purpose because the actor Ron Moody was just like, listen, I'm aware of how the character's portrayed in the book. I don't want to do that. I want to kind of stray away from that as much as possible. He's still a bad guy, but let's not make him that bad and not nearly that stereotypical. Right. And I feel like that was a good call because I feel like the character was better off because of it. Because in the book, there's nothing but bad people left and right. You know, like Oliver mostly just cries in the book, and all the other people are just like beating on him or chasing him down or starving him. There's like hardly anything good in there, except for maybe a couple other characters. But it's just like, I understand that the book is meant to be like a commentary of, you know, English society at the time. You know, child labor was atrocious and the destitute conditions of people at the time, working class people. I understand that, but I felt like I wasn't really being told a story. I felt like I was really being preached at, like, a lot. And the movie was at least good in that it basically told a story.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's even going into it, I was watching it and was like, this is gonna be a tough watch. You know, it's a musical. It's 2.5 hours. Another musical. And, you know, I thought it was going to be pretty painful. And initially it kind of was, to be honest. 30 to 40 minutes in, I was like, okay, there's a lot that's happened in the film within even 30 minutes. They had so much in the film, and which can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? And, of course, at that point, I looked at it. I was like, man, I got 2 hours left in this film to go. You know, someone help me. But, because it was the first half hour, maybe 35 minutes or so, that it felt like that alone was over an hour. Like, to me, that's how it felt.
I was taking down the minutes too.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, man, this movie's off to a rough start. And like I said earlier, you know, but it's really not that bad. I mean, there's a lot of things in it that actually are done well, and I think
Charles Dickens is to blame. That's the main guy to blame. That's why the story is just so wishy-washy at times, and it just takes too long to get to the point, you know. And I feel like the creators or the people who made the film should have taken greater license to really modify the story, in my opinion. There would have been some purists that would have been like, that's not like the book. And I would have been like, who cares? The book sucks. You know, make it better.
Right. One of my main issues is because, I mean, 68 was a good year for film, right? And so how did this even win Best Picture? And obviously people have discussed it. 2001 Space Odyssey, which is a movie I really enjoy, that wasn't even nominated. Okay. But then look at what was nominated. What else wasn't nominated? Planet of the Apes, you know, was out in 68. And obviously horror films aren't going to get much, you know, notoriety at that time. So, but Night of the Living Dead, Rosemary's Baby, those are all in 68 movies I really like. And I think they're all great movies, or some of them are really good. Some are great.
They're still remembered to this day, honestly.
Yeah. So the fact that none of those were nominated and this somehow won, I would say that this is probably one of, if not the most undeserving films to win Best Picture in the history of the Academy Awards up to this point.
I mean, like, compared to what it was stacked up against. I mean, yeah, 2001 only won special effects visual. That was for Stanley Kubrick, I think, because he had a hand in that. Honestly, that's just criminal that movie was not even nominated for Best Picture.
Agreed.
Like, why did the Academy snub Kubrick so much? What did he do to these people? Was he just like, did people just not like him? I just get an inkling that people did not. I understand some actors really did not like working with this guy. Probably the crew too. I mean, like, he was just one of those cantankerous, you know, really, really like precise sort of directors. I understand that. You know, he's a hard individual to work with, but come on, dude. It's just like 2001. That's a masterpiece. That should have won Best Picture, clearly. But
Agreed. Yeah.
whatever. It's
And those other films I said, I mean, none of them nominated. That's pretty shocking. But you know what? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we've come to see this, and but I don't know. It is, you know. But anyways, like I said, there's a lot of good things about this film. It's not as bad as I thought. Uh, like you said, I think if they took the musical out of it, it'd be even better, and I would have appreciated it even more.
yeah, just take out the
But
music and then rewrite the story. Just
rewrite.
completely rewrite the story in some parts.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the first part of it is okay in terms of like how it's set up and all that. All right, that's fine, whatever. But then you move it, and because they even changed the ending. Because in the ending of the book, the guy,
I've heard that. Yeah,
because in the ending of the book, like it's his dad's friend that takes him in. You know, his long lost dad's friend, because his mother, she in the beginning of the book, she has him in childbirth. She dies after holding him or
yeah,
whatever, and you
yeah,
find out that she's actually the wife of a, I wouldn't say a super affluent family, but just like a well off family. Definitely not poor, working class at all. And by the end of the book, like the dude is just like, "Oh, I knew your daddy. Come live with me." So Oliver ends up living with him, and he has a huge inheritance as well, but it's squandered by some other guy. Um, in this movie, it's like it's a little bit different in that the guy who takes care of him is actually his uncle, I think, or what
great
is it?
uncle,
Yeah, his
great
great,
uncle.
yeah, his great uncle. So he's his great nephew. So they changed it already, and I'm like, if you're gonna do that, change more. Like, just I would have gotten rid of a couple of characters for sure. I would have done more with the plot with the boys coming together and pickpocketing stuff. There's a character called Nancy, I think, the girl in the red dress.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, she was given quite a
very
bit to
important
work
to the
with.
story.
She's very important. I would have given her a little bit more to do also. I can't think offhand what I would have done, you know, right off the top of my head, but I know this story could have been refined more.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I think there's an audience for this. I know so many people really enjoy this movie, just like Dickens' novel. I get it. You know, I really do. Like I said, this movie's not as bad as I thought. It's not really for me, but I'm glad I watched it. It was definitely entertaining at times. But you know, I suspect a lot of the people who really love this movie, it's because they watched it when they were a kid. I'd never had seen it before. This is the first time watching it. And so those people are probably the same people who probably agree it should have won Best Picture, when I definitely disagree that it shouldn't have won Best Picture.
Yeah.
You could make an argument whether it should have been nominated. I think that's fine, but
Nominated would have been fine, yeah.
would have been fine, yeah.
Because it
And
does look like an Oscar nominated movie. It does look like, you know, a
yeah,
lot of care and production was put into it. You know, it is carefully produced, carefully constructed. Winning it? Hell no. But like I said, you know, in terms of musicals, honestly, I really thought Sound of Music would have been the best musical, but I don't know, man. I mean, there's certain things about this movie that are better than Sound of Music. So I don't know.
mm,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Man.
I think it's hard to say. Sound of Music's got a lot more memorable music and songs in it. I think it's obviously more ingrained in pop culture,
It is.
and so it's more important in many ways. Yeah, I would probably put this movie maybe somewhere in the middle when it comes to musicals, maybe, but it's not up there with Sound of Music or, you know, some of the other ones we've covered. But
Yeah, I would put it on par, honestly. Just like because I have problems with the Sound of Music as well, as do you. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like, you know, you're gonna like certain aspects and you're not gonna like certain aspects. That's just how it is. So
yeah. The best way I would put it is I like the story part, the film part of this movie more than the Sound of Music. But I think the music in the Sound of Music is much better than this movie. If that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. You know, I'm kind of half and half, honestly. It's just
Yeah,
like there's some songs in Sound of Music I don't really remember or care for, but there's some that are really good.
yeah,
I would say a couple of songs in Oliver are good. I feel like the repetitiveness is what kills some of these songs because they do go on forever. Sound of Music
yeah.
knows when to nip it in the bud and be like, okay, we're done with
Exactly.
this, we're moving on. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
again,
exactly it. Yeah.
we're comparing Rodgers and Hammerstein to whoever the hell wrote the music for this.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who,
Take that into account too.
Lionel Bart. I think that's the guy who wrote the music for the Broadway version.
Mhm.
Just like, you know, mediocre book, pretty decent film. I don't think that bodes well for like a Best Picture winner, in my opinion. But it is what it is. We're here now, so
Yep.
all right. So
Nope. I guess we can go ahead and move on to ratings.
yeah, I guess so. So all things considered, I think I'm gonna probably look back at the film fondly in certain aspects because it is, when it comes to the razzle and dazzle and the overall presentation, when it comes to the musical numbers, they're very good. I'm not going to say they're not good. I still remember them in my mind, even as we're talking about this right now. I probably will remember them for a long time to come. 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's not as long as Sound of Music or a lot of other films we've covered, because most of them have been 3 hours or close to it. But it does feel torturously long at the same time. So overall, I think I'm going to probably give this a 6.5.
And I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6 out of 10. Mostly giving it that because of the story and characters and the acting and all that. Unlike you, I think I'll probably forget all the music except for maybe one or two songs. Pick a pocket or two in the other one you were saying.
Consider yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. And who knows, maybe I'll forget that next week. So I don't know. But
Probably.
other than that, considering there's so much music in this, I don't remember. I literally just watched the movie and I can't remember any of the other music. So that being said, once again, 6 out of 10. It's not bad. I enjoyed it. Wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I would probably say that for some of the other musicals we've seen, like Great Ziegfeld and Broadway Melody. Actually, do I recall anything from Broadway Melody?
Well,
Let's see here.
Broadway Melody.
I guess that's pretty much it, right? So,
yeah.
Oh, well. All right, guys. So the next film we're going to be talking about is about a gay cowboy or something. So can't wait to talk about that one.
Yep, that's right. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.